If you are over 60 years old and knee pain is making your days miserable, this video is for you. Maybe lately you find it hard to climb stairs or to walk for more than 10 minutes without feeling that annoying sharp pain with every step. Perhaps you wake up at night with that feeling of stiffness, or you feel like you need more and more time in the morning just to stand up. I know because I went through the same thing. For months I lived trapped between pain pills, creams promising instant relief, and recommendations that didn't work. They told me it was normal, that it was part of aging, that I just had to get used to it. But here I am today, recording this video, because I found something that changed my life, and I want to share it with you. I'm going to tell you what homemade drink, in just 7 days, began to restore my mobility and calm the pain that had accompanied me for years. A natural recipe, with ingredients you probably already have in your kitchen, which besides relieving pain, helps regenerate damaged cartilage. And no, I'm not talking about magical solutions or expensive products sold on TV. I'm talking about a combination of foods and nutrients that science has shown can help reduce inflammation and stimulate the repair of joint tissue. Throughout this video, I will explain why it works, how to prepare it step by step, the best time of day to take it, and precautions you should consider if you are on medication or have any special health conditions. But before we get started, I want to ask you a small favor. Leave me in the comments how old you are and from which country you are watching me. I would love to know where these stories of overcoming come from, because believe me, you are not alone. There are thousands of older people who, like you and me, are looking for natural and effective ways to walk again without pain and regain their quality of life. Now then, get ready, because what you're about to discover today, I wish someone had told me many years ago. Let's begin. Why do our knees hurt so much after 60? Now that you know what we're going to discover today, before giving you the recipe, I need to explain something very important. Why do your knees hurt so much after 60 years of age? The answer, although it seems simple, has several layers. Let's break it down in a simple way so you can understand exactly what is happening inside your body every time you find it hard to stand up, walk, or even stand for a long time. First, let's talk about cartilage. When you were young, maybe at 30 or even 40, your knees were like a perfectly oiled mechanism. Each bone was protected by a layer of firm and elastic cartilage, which acted as a natural shock absorber. That cartilage allowed the bones to glide over each other without pain, without friction, and without wear. But over the years, that cartilage starts to deteriorate. The body produces less collagen, which is the main protein that makes up cartilage. Also, cell regeneration slows down. What used to repair in days or weeks now takes months, or sometimes never fully recovers. Add to this another problem: chronic inflammation. With age, many people develop inflammatory processes that remain active for long periods. This means the joints are constantly irritated, swollen, and sensitive to movement. This inflammation causes the little cartilage left to wear out even faster. And what are the most common causes of this joint pain? First, osteoarthritis, one of the most frequent diseases in people over 60. Osteoarthritis is basically the progressive wear of the joints. The knees are one of the most affected areas because they bear all the body's weight day after day. Second, overweight. The more extra kilos we carry, the more pressure our knees endure. In fact, studies say that for every extra kilo of body weight, the knees receive 4 extra kilos of pressure with every step we take. Imagine what that means when climbing stairs or standing up from a chair. Third, sedentary lifestyle. Sometimes we think that to protect our knees, the best is not to move, but the reality is the opposite. When we stop moving, the muscles around the knees weaken. Blood circulation decreases, and cartilage receives fewer nutrients. This accelerates wear and worsens pain. And if you are wondering if you are the only person going through this, let me give you a fact that might surprise you. It is estimated that more than 40% of people over 60 suffer regular joint pain. And in most cases, the most affected area is precisely the knees. So no, you are not alone. And the most important thing, there are solutions. We are not talking about eliminating the problem overnight, but about taking a real, natural, and effective step to relieve pain and start regenerating what can still be recovered. How this pain affects our quality of life. Now that you know why your knees hurt, it's time to talk about something equally important: the impact this pain has on your daily life. Because yes, physical pain is only part of the problem. What really changes your life is everything that pain stops you from doing. Think about it for a moment. Something as simple as walking to the store, climbing a few stairs, or even bending down to pick something up from the floor suddenly becomes a challenge. You start avoiding certain activities. You say no to long walks. You prefer to stay home rather than go out walking with friends or family. And little by little, without realizing it, your world starts to get smaller. This is what many specialists call the cycle of pain. First, you have pain. That pain makes you move less, because any movement hurts. But moving less, your muscles weaken, your joints become stiffer. And in the end, what happens? The pain worsens. And then you enter a kind of downward spiral. Each week you feel a little more limited. Each month you notice you can do fewer things you used to do without thinking, until it reaches a point where almost your entire routine revolves around avoiding pain. But it's not just physical. This constant pain also affects you emotionally. You start feeling like you're aging faster than you should, that your body is failing you, that you're no longer the active and capable person you used to be. Frustration, sadness, even anxiety start to appear, because no one likes to feel dependent. No one likes having to ask for help for things they used to do alone, like getting up from a chair or going for a walk. Let me tell you Teresa's story. She is 72 years old. Just 2 years ago, she used to go out every morning to walk with her neighborhood friends. She enjoyed her park walks, shopping on foot, and climbing her home's stairs without problems. But knee pain started little by little. At first, it was just a discomfort. Then it became a pain that prevented her from walking more than 10 minutes straight. She began avoiding going out, stopped going to the park. And now, she tells me through tears, what hurts her most isn't just her knee. It's feeling trapped, as if her own body was locking her inside the house, day after day. And the worst is that many doctors only prescribed painkillers, which eased the pain a little, but never solved the root problem. So if you identify with Teresa, if you've noticed you depend more on others every day, if sadness overwhelms you because you can't move like before, I want you to know something very important. This doesn't have to be this way forever. Today, we're going to start breaking that cycle of pain. What does cartilage need to regenerate, and how can we help it from home? Very well, we've understood why it hurts, and how that pain is stealing our quality of life. Now let's get into what many consider the most hopeful part of this video. What does your cartilage really need to start repairing? Because although for years we were told that cartilage doesn't regenerate, the latest science has shown that it is possible to stimulate recovery, as long as we give the body the right nutrients and the necessary environment to do so. First, let's talk about the 3 key pillars for cartilage regeneration. First, collagen. Cartilage is mostly made of type 2 collagen. This is like the scaffold that supports and shapes the entire joint structure. Without enough collagen, the fibers of your cartilage wear down, weaken, and eventually disappear. Second, hyaluronic acid. You've probably heard of it in skin creams. But what you may not know is that this acid is also fundamental inside the joints. It acts as a lubricant, helping reduce friction between bones and maintaining cartilage hydration. Third, natural anti-inflammatories. As we saw before, one of your knee's biggest enemies is chronic inflammation. That's why, besides providing collagen and hyaluronic acid, we also need to give the body nutrients that help lower inflammation naturally. This is where ingredients like ginger, turmeric, and omega-3 fatty acids found in some foods come into play. Besides these 3 pillars, there are other micronutrients that play key roles. vitamin C, which helps synthesize collagen, magnesium, which aids tissue recovery, and zinc, which participates in cell repair processes. The good news is that you don't need to spend large amounts of money on expensive supplements or hard-to-get treatments. There are simple, homemade ways to combine all these elements in a single drink, using natural ingredients you probably already have in your kitchen or can find at any local market. That's why the recipe I'm going to give you today is designed precisely for that, to provide you natural collagen, help reduce inflammation, and promote cartilage regeneration, all in an easy-to-prepare, economical, and delicious drink. But before giving you the step-by-step recipe, let me briefly explain why it works. This drink is a combination of foods rich in hydrolyzed collagen with anti-inflammatory ingredients and others that promote the body's natural production of hyaluronic acid. The synergy between them makes the nutrients go directly to the joints, helping strengthen cartilage, lubricate the knees, and relieve pain. In the next part, we will dive into the recipe. I will tell you exactly what ingredients you need, in what amounts, and how to prepare it to get the most benefits. So stay with me, because now, here comes what you've been waiting for. Why many common treatments don't work, and their risks. Before I tell you the recipe that helped me so much, I want to talk about something you have probably tried or at least considered. The common treatments we all use when knee pain starts. Because the most usual thing, when pain appears, is to go for a quick fix. And of course, the first thing we do is take a painkiller. Ibuprofen, acetaminophen, diclofenac, or any other anti-inflammatory sold at the pharmacy. At first, they seem almost miraculous. You take a pill, and in less than an hour, the pain decreases. And you think, well, this will do. But what they don't tell you is what happens when you take those pills for weeks, months, or even years. What happens is that relief is only temporary, because while the medication is working, cartilage keeps wearing down. Inflammation remains there, silent, worsening day by day. And the worst of all are the side effects. Ibuprofen, for example, can cause stomach damage, ulcers, internal bleeding. Acetaminophen, if taken frequently, can seriously affect the liver. And diclofenac, besides digestive risks, can increase cardiovascular problems. And if you have had injections, you probably know what I'm talking about. The typical cortisone shot they give you in the knee to calm pain. Yes, it works, but only for a short time. The first weeks you may feel relief, but then the pain returns. And what almost no one tells you is that repeated use of these injections can end up damaging the cartilage even more and weakening joint tissues. Many doctors know this, but since they don't have another quick solution to give you, they resort to this. And then there are the famous miracle products. You've probably seen them online or on ads. Magic powders, very expensive pills, creams with strange names, all promising that in 7 days you'll run again like when you were 30. But the reality is different. Most of these products lack scientific backing, and worse, many times they play on the desperation of people who just want to stop suffering. I also fell for those promises. I spent money on supplements that never made me feel any real improvement. And with each failed attempt, my frustration grew. Until one day, after reading, researching, and talking to people who had gone through what I went through, I decided to look for a more natural, more accessible, and above all, more respectful solution for my body. Something I could prepare myself at home, using simple ingredients. But that really provided what my knees needed to start truly recovering. And that's when I found the recipe I'm going to teach you in the next part. A drink that not only relieves pain, but also helps regenerate cartilage. And the best part, without side effects. Ingredient 2, turmeric, the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory. Now let's go to the second ingredient of this recipe, one you've surely heard of many times, but perhaps never used correctly. Turmeric. Yes, that intensely yellow spice many people associate with Indian cuisine. But what you may not have known is that turmeric is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories out there. And the best part, without the side effects of chemical medicines. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin. And here's the interesting part. Several scientific studies, conducted at renowned universities, have shown that curcumin has an anti-inflammatory power comparable, even superior in some cases, to medications like ibuprofen or aspirin, but without damaging your stomach, affecting your liver, or causing kidney problems. I'm going to explain simply how it works. When you have knee pain, what's really happening inside your body is that your tissues are inflamed. That inflammation is like an internal fire that damages cartilage, irritates nerves, and makes every step painful. What curcumin does is act as a natural extinguisher. It enters your body and begins blocking the molecules that cause that uncontrolled inflammation. But here comes a key detail. If you only take turmeric, your body will absorb very little. Curcumin alone has very low bioavailability. That means even if you consume it, only a tiny amount will reach your bloodstream. So, how can we take full advantage of its potential? The answer is very simple. The key is to combine turmeric with black pepper. Black pepper contains a substance called piperine, and what piperine does is multiply up to 2,000 times. Yes, you heard right, 2,000 times. The absorption of curcumin in your body. This is not a myth, nor just an internet tip. It's backed by scientific studies published in medical journals. So, in this recipe, we're going to add a pinch of black pepper. Just a small amount, but enough for your body to benefit fully from turmeric. And in case you're wondering, no, don't worry about the taste. The combination of all the ingredients we're going to use makes the result a pleasant and easy-to-drink beverage. In the end, what matters is that this mix starts working from the inside, reducing joint inflammation, easing pain, and giving your body the boost it needs to start regenerating cartilage. So now we have two essential ingredients in this recipe. First, collagen, to rebuild cartilage, and now, turmeric, to put out the inflammation that's causing you so much harm. But there are still more key components to come. Ingredient 3, vitamin C and its role in cartilage repair. Now that we have the first two pillars of our recipe, let's go to the third ingredient. One you might not have known, but is absolutely fundamental if you really want to repair cartilage and strengthen your joints. I'm talking about vitamin C. Yes, that vitamin we were always told helps prevent colds, but that few people know is also directly responsible for your body's ability to produce and maintain collagen. I'll explain it simply. Imagine collagen as the bricks that build the cartilage in your knees. But who puts those bricks in place? Vitamin C. Without it, your body cannot efficiently synthesize collagen, no matter how many supplements you take or how much collagen-rich food you eat. If you don't have enough vitamin C, all that effort goes to waste. That's why this ingredient couldn't be missing from our homemade drink. The best natural sources of vitamin C are fruits like oranges, lemons, guava, strawberries, kiwi, and even red bell pepper. In our recipe, we will use lemon or orange juice, because besides providing vitamin C, they give the mixture a fresh and pleasant flavor. But here I want to make a small pause, because I know many older people, especially those with gastritis or stomach sensitivity, may have trouble consuming citrus. If that's your case, don't worry. You can also get vitamin C from other sources that are gentler on the stomach. For example, cooked broccoli, red bell pepper, or you can even use a powdered vitamin C supplement, which is usually less harsh than citrus juice and can be easily dissolved in water. What matters is not so much the source, but making sure your body gets enough vitamin C so it can activate collagen production, and thus, together with the other ingredients, start repairing the damaged tissues in your knees. Because there's no use having the brick if you don't have the cement that holds everything together. So you know, vitamin C will be the engine that drives the reconstruction of your cartilage, and also, being a powerful antioxidant, It will help reduce oxidative stress in your joints, which means less inflammation and less pain. Step-by-step preparation of the drink. Now that you know the star ingredients of our recipe, the moment you've been waiting for has arrived. The step-by-step preparation of this homemade drink, the same one many older people are using, and who claim that in just 1 week, they start to notice less pain and more mobility in their knees. So, if you want, you can grab pen and paper, or even pause the video to write down every detail. Let's go. First, the list of ingredients. 1 tablespoon of unflavored gelatin or grenadine, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of black pepper, very important so. The turmeric absorbs well, juice of half a lemon or an orange, whichever you prefer, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, or if you prefer, 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed. Optional, 1 teaspoon of honey to improve the flavor. And of course, 1 large glass of water, about 250 milliliters. Now, let's move on to preparation. First, in a small cup, dissolve the unflavored gelatin in some warm water. This will help prevent lumps. Meanwhile, in another container, mix the turmeric with the pinch of black pepper and add the lemon or orange juice. Stir well. Then, in a large glass, pour the water. Add the turmeric and lemon mixture, and then incorporate the dissolved gelatin. Stir with a spoon, or if you prefer, you can put everything in a blender for a more homogeneous result. Finally, add the chia or flaxseed. If using chia, let the drink rest about 10 to 15 minutes, so the seeds release their natural gel, which is also excellent for joints. And if you like a touch of sweetness, you can add a teaspoon of honey, but this is totally optional. Now, when is the best time to take it? The ideal is to drink it on an empty stomach, right after waking up, before breakfast. Why? Because this way, your body absorbs it better, and nutrients reach your system faster. If you can't take it on an empty stomach, another good option is before going to sleep, but try to take it always at the same time, so your body gets used to it. For how long? At least 7 consecutive days. But if you can, the ideal is to maintain it for at least 3 or 4 weeks, so the effect is more lasting and real. And here are some extra tips. Keep the drink in the fridge if you prepare more for several days. Shake it well before each intake, especially if it has chia, because the seeds tend to settle at the bottom. And remember, this drink is natural. No chemicals, no preservatives, so it's better to consume it fresh. Possible variations of the recipe depending on each case. Now, I know many of you might be thinking, what if I can't take some of these ingredients? What do I do? Or maybe you wonder, can I improve this recipe even more according to my case? The good news is yes. This drink has several ways to adapt, depending on your needs, tastes, and health condition. Let's see some variations you can consider. First, for those who prefer supplements. If you don't want to use unflavored gelatin, or if you simply want to boost cartilage regeneration even more, you can opt to add hydrolyzed collagen. Hydrolyzed collagen comes in powder form and is much easier for the body to absorb. The ideal is to add 1 tablespoon dissolved in water, just at the end of preparation, before drinking. Many specialists recommend this form of collagen, especially in people over 60, because it helps repair tissues, strengthen joints, and improve skin elasticity. Second variation, for those allergic or intolerant to turmeric. If, for some reason, you have sensitivity to turmeric, or it causes digestive discomfort, you can substitute it with an ingredient that also has powerful anti-inflammatory properties: ginger. Ginger, besides being an excellent natural anti-inflammatory, helps improve circulation and also has analgesic effect. Just grate a small piece of fresh ginger, about the size of a pinky finger, and add it to the mix. If you prefer, you can also use 1 teaspoon of ginger powder. Third adaptation, For diabetics or people with blood sugar problems, we know some ingredients like honey or even orange juice can raise glucose levels. If that's your case, I recommend preparing the drink using lemon juice instead of orange because it has less sugar. And instead of honey, you can simply omit the sweetener or use a few drops of natural stevia, which doesn't affect blood sugar levels. Another very recommended option for diabetics is to add some flax seeds, which help regulate blood sugar thanks to their high soluble fiber content. Now, very important, before trying this drink, if you have any serious illness, like liver problems, kidney failure, or if you are on anticoagulants, it is essential to consult your trusted doctor first. Remember, although this is a natural recipe, its ingredients, like turmeric, can interact with certain medications, especially those affecting blood clotting. For example, if you are taking medications like warfarin or any other anticoagulant, it's better your doctor approves before you incorporate this drink into your routine. The same if you have ulcers or severe gastric problems, since some of these ingredients may stimulate gastric juice production. My advice is always the same. Take care of your body, listen to professionals, and adapt the recipe according to your needs. How long to take it and when to repeat the cycle. Now that you know how to prepare this drink and you're clear about its benefits, comes a very important question. How long should I take it and when should I repeat the cycle? The answer is simple, but it must be done right to get the best results. Most people, especially those who already have cartilage wear or suffer from osteoarthritis, need to give the body time to absorb nutrients and for the repair process to start showing. That's why my personal recommendation is to follow a cycle of 3 weeks taking the drink every day. And then take a 1-week break. During those 21 days, your body will be absorbing collagen, vitamins, antioxidants, and all the anti-inflammatory components we're providing. And the rest week allows your body to process everything without overloading it. Once that rest week is over, you can start the cycle again if you want, especially if you still have discomfort or want to keep strengthening your joints. Some people, after the first cycle, already notice significant improvement, less pain, less stiffness, and easier movement when getting up or climbing stairs. Others, especially those who have had pain for many years, will need to repeat the cycle several times. And that's fine. Remember, every body is different, and cartilage regeneration is a slow process, but possible if we are consistent. Very important too. During these cycles, I recommend keeping a small log of your symptoms. It can be as simple as having a notebook where you write down every morning how you feel. For example, how was walking? Did it hurt less getting out of bed? Did you feel less stiffness after sitting for a long time? These small notes will help you see the progress. Because sometimes, when improvement is gradual, we don't realize how far we've come until we look back. Now, if you want to boost the effects of this drink even more, you can consider, always with your doctor's approval, complementing it with natural supplements like glucosamine, which helps protect and repair cartilage, hyaluronic acid, which improves joint lubrication, or even MSM, methylsulfonylmethane, which has a strong anti-inflammatory effect. But beware, don't take supplements on your own, especially if you're under medical treatment or have an important health condition. Finally, I want to give you some additional advice, because beyond this drink, there are habits that can make a big difference in the health of your knees in the long term. First, maintain a healthy weight. Every extra kilo is an extra load for your joints, especially the knees. Second, do low-impact exercises like walking, swimming, or using a stationary bike. Gentle but consistent movements that keep your muscles strong and your mobility active. Third, don't forget the importance of a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, and anti-inflammatory foods. And fourth, always stay well hydrated. Water is key for cartilage to remain flexible and nourished. Remember, it's not just about relieving pain for a few days. It's about caring for your knees so they stay strong and healthy for many more years. If you've made it this far, if you're listening to me right now, it's because you've been suffering from this pain for too long. That knee pain that greets you every morning when you get up. That limits you when you climb stairs. That makes you think twice before going for a walk, or even before standing up from a chair. And I want to tell you something. Don't lose hope. Really, the human body has an incredible capacity to heal. Even when we feel everything is lost, that it's already too late, that the years have done too much damage. Believe me, you can still give your body what it needs to start healing. Sometimes, all it takes is a small change, a daily gesture, like preparing and drinking this beverage, to start noticing differences, small but real. And before you know it, one day you'll get up, walk, and realize that pain has begun to lessen. I want you to take this with you. Your knee pain doesn't have to be a life sentence. With consistency, patience, and kindness towards your own body, you can improve, you can feel relief, and you can move more freely again. Now, before I say goodbye, I'd love to know more about you. Tell me in the comments from which country you're watching me and how old you are. I really want to know how many older people I can reach and help today with this video. And please, if this information has helped you, if it's given you a bit of hope, give the video a like. That helps a lot, so YouTube shows it to more people who, just like you, are searching for a solution to their pain. And if you're not subscribed yet, I invite you to do it right now. Turn on the notification bell, because every week I'll be uploading more tips, remedies, and natural strategies to take care of your health, and especially to help you have a more active, more independent, and less painful old age. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Thank you for trusting me. And above all, thank you for not giving up. See you in the next video. And always remember this: your body wants to heal. It just needs you to give it the right tools.